Hi guys, happy Vlogmas day 17. You know, as much as I love having a 5 feet apart poster in my room, it always gets a little creepy sometimes when I'm looking in the camera and then I just see like Cole Sprouse's head. Anyways, hi guys. So, being that 2020 is almost over, I was thinking the other day about all the movies that I have watched this year. And as much as I am a film major, I honestly don't watch a lot of movies. I'm very picky about the movies that I watch, and I also don't give myself the time to just sit and just watch an entire movie. I would have to say that 2020 has a record of the most movies I've ever seen in 1 year. And, you know, looking back, I'm actually glad for it because I don't know if I'll have another time like this to just be able to give myself time to just watch all these movies. So I am thankful for that in that aspect, but it is a lot of movies that I've seen. So I wanted to share with you guys all the ones that not all the movies I've seen, but my favorites. And I have a lot of favorites that I watched this year. So let's get started. So I broke this up into different categories. So I had the categories of documentaries, drama/thrillers, classics, and TV shows. So I'm starting with documentaries. Documentaries, that's my favorite genre. So the documentaries that I saw were Miss Americana, Surfing to Cope, Unstoppable, Saving Jaws, Making Waves, Shawn Mendes in Wonder, Hillsong, Let Hope Rise, This Is Paris, documentary on YouTube. Justin Bieber, I watched the documentary series of his on YouTube, Justin Bieber Seasons, and then Justin Bieber Next Chapter, which is like an extended one. Claire, the documentary on YouTube. I'm going to put this as a documentary. I'm not sure if this is the right category for it, but Folklore, the Long Pond studio sessions, because I mean, she talks about the behind the scenes and of writing it, so I'm going to put that down as documentary. And the other two that I had seen for the first time this year were 13th and Back to Natural. I'm not going to talk too much about those two movies in this video because if you guys want to hear more about my thoughts about those two movies, I actually did it in my Black Lives Matter movie recommendations video earlier this year, where I talk more about different movies to help people educate themselves, just with all of the current events and just so that they could learn about past historical moments as well. So I'll link that video so you guys can go and check it out. So I'll share my top favorites, which is really hard because I love documentaries. Ooh, I don't know if I can pick a favorite, but I would have to say Claire, the documentary. I loved watching that documentary and learning more about Claire and her vision and just who she was. She is someone who inspired me to start my own YouTube channel, so I truly admire Claire and I'm glad they created a documentary about her. Then my next favorite would probably have to be Hillsong, Let Hope Rise. Hillsong is one of my favorite worship groups, so it's really interesting learning about the history of the Hillsong churches, but also the music groups as well. Ooh, I would have to say Making Waves. Making Waves is such an interesting movie, and you learn more about the sound engineering in different movies and probably maybe some of your favorite movies. You never know. But I learned a lot about how they made different sounds in Star Wars and some of my favorite movies like Argo. And they go through the past of how sound happened in movies to present and how it has changed the industry. So I thought that was a really fascinating movie. I really liked it. I'll share two more of my favorites from this category. Next one is Unstoppable, which is Bethany Hamilton's documentary. It was amazing. I feel like you got to learn a different side of Bethany and it was more personal, and it wasn't like the movie Soul Surfer. It was her telling her own story without any actors portraying her, but it was her telling her own story, which is really, really cool. And then the last one I really loved was Saving Jaws. And It's very short. It's a short documentary, but I really liked it. It's all about the importance of sharks and about shark conservation and conserving the ocean and just the different creatures in the ocean, but especially sharks. Because even though movies have made sharks to be the bad guy and everything like that, sharks do have an incredible purpose. And I love sharks. I think sharks are cool. But this movie really shows the importance of why the world has sharks and what the importance is, and that people need to educate themselves more about sharks. So the next category is drama and thrillers, and I saw a lot of movies from this category. So back when we had to do shelter in place and staying at home and everything like that, back in the beginning, back when I thought this would last 2 months, I was wrong. Back when I thought it would last 2 months, I thought, you know, I never have this much time for myself. I should watch a series I've always wanted to fully finish. And I chose Marvel. I had never seen like the complete series of Marvel. I had only previously seen all the Iron Man movies, all the Spider-Man movies, all of them, all the different versions, you know, Andrew Garfield, Tobey Maguire, and Tom Holland. I'd already seen all of those beforehand, and I'd already seen the first Avengers, and I'd seen Black Panther and Captain Marvel. So those were the only movies I'd seen of Marvel. So this time, I saw the entire Marvel series. All of them. I can definitely say I can see why people like Captain America now. Like, it makes sense. But I would have to say, out of all the Marvel movies that I saw, my favorite to this day is still Black Panther. That is the most incredible movie I've ever seen, and there's so many historical moments in that, or historical aspects to it, and just, it's an incredible movie. But Spider-Man and Iron Man are still my favorite superheroes. So the other drama and thriller movies that I had seen were Quiet Place, Marriage Story, the new Mulan live action movie, Clouds, and Harriet. If you want to hear more about my thoughts of Harriet, you can go and see, again, the Black Lives Matter movie recommendation video that I made, so you can go and watch it there to hear more about my thoughts about that movie. But yeah, Quiet Place, Marriage Story, Mulan, Clouds, and then all the Marvel series. Honestly, I loved all of these movies so much. Like, I even loved Mulan. I know some people didn't like it because it wasn't like the animated one and like the classic story that we had known, but I really liked this new fresh look on Mulan. So I really loved Mulan. But if I was to choose my top favorites, I would have to definitely say Clouds, Quiet Place, Marriage Story. Quiet Place, or Clouds, I've already given my thoughts about. You can go check out my Clouds reaction video. But Quiet Place, I am not someone who likes horror movies or anything like that. Like, it's weird. I have this thing of like every 3 years I'll go and see a horror movie. I don't know why, but I do every 3 years. And this was not the third year, actually. I actually saw a horror movie 2 years ago. No, a year ago. Yeah. That was not a fun experience. So the only reason why I wanted to watch Quiet Place is just because I'd heard so many great things about it. Just the way it was filmed and the way it was directed and the acting. So I'm like, you know, I'll look at this at a point of view of a filmmaker. Just look at the film aspects, not really like, not going in to be scared, just to analyze it. And honestly, such an incredible movie. Like, if I was to watch a horror movie over and over and over again, it'd be Quiet Place. Like, it's so phenomenally, it's so well done. And then next, Marriage Story. It's a beautiful but sad story, but it's just the actors did a phenomenal job, and I loved seeing Adam Driver as a different character because he plays Kylo Ren in Star Wars, and you know, I think we've all seen him that way, but it was so interesting to see him in such a layered character. I feel like there's so many layers to this movie, so many layers to the characters, and Adam Driver just did a phenomenal job. So yeah. Moving on to classics. For those who don't know, I love classic movies. Hollywood Golden Age is my favorite era of film. Like I love classic movies. The movies that I had seen in the classics category were Three Guys Named Mike, Roman Holiday, High Society, Holiday Inn, The Long Long Trailer, and Shall We Dance. I would have to say my favorites were Three Guys Named Mike and Roman Holiday. Roman Holiday, I'd seen the Broadway show, but I had never seen the movie. So I loved seeing Roman Holiday. It's such a sweet and it's such a sweet movie. I love it. Plus it has Audrey Hepburn in it. And Three Guys Named Mike. It's really hard to find this movie. You can find it on Amazon Prime. That's how I found it. And it's just such a funny movie because there's this girl and she's a stewardess and she falls in love with a guy named Mike, but she falls in love with 3 different guys named Mike, and then she has to choose which Mike does she love the most. It's such a funny movie, and I love it so much. But all of these movies I loved watching, but I would have to say the one that I kind of had issues with is Holiday Inn. I love the story, and I love, you know, having a Holiday Inn, you know, where you go for holidays and like you could spend Christmas there, you know. It seems like such a fun idea and a fun place to go to, but the only thing that just really upset me when I was watching it was just the fact that there was a whole scene of blackface. I understand that it was acceptable back then for blackface. I get it. But, you know, there are a few things that make me mad, and blackface is one of them. I cannot tolerate blackface, and it's like a slap in the face whenever I see video clips of that or anything like that, and it's so offensive. It made me so mad. I mean, I still love the movie for the other aspects of the movie, but it's just that one scene just really, I just did not like. So, yeah. Besides that, but yeah, my top favorites are Roman Holiday and Three Guys Named Mike. Alright, moving on to TV shows. Now, TV shows, funny enough, I'm very picky with my TV shows. If I have a TV show that I love, I will just rewatch it over and over and over again. Like, it's really hard to get me into like a new TV show. Really hard. The first one I'd watch, I didn't watch the whole series, but I did watch this one episode because it's the one I was most interested in. But it's on Disney Plus, and it's called Prop Culture, and it's where they talk about different props of previous Disney movies and how it made that movie come to life, and then they bring like the cast back and I get to see the items that they once held as characters, and it's a really cool show, and you definitely learn more about the behind the scenes and movie aspects and the importance of props and just all the detail that goes into props. So the episode that I'd watch of Prop Culture was The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe one. The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe is one of my top favorite movies, and I loved learning more about that movie. And the next TV show is Outer Banks, and I watched the entire one. I watched it like 3 or 4 times this year. Like, it's so good. Like, I love Outer Banks. I love the suspense. I love the drama. I love the mystery. And I think it's just such a great show. So I'm hooked. It's Outer Banks. I'm so excited for season 2 when that comes out. I did attempt to watch Vampire Diaries this year because a lot of my friends were like, oh my gosh, you love the show, blah, blah, blah. I think I watched all the way up to the first episode of season 3. So I I couldn't. I tried, but I couldn't get into it. I'm like, well, maybe it gets better in the next episode. I don't know, I just didn't really like it. But yeah, those are the movies that I had seen, movies and TV shows that I had seen this year, and I really like it, and I definitely like that I kind of broadened my movie knowledge, I guess, and from what I've seen. So yeah, I'm glad I had this time to actually take time for myself and take time to like enjoy watching movies, because I'm very like go 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 go, it has to be quick. But these movies were phenomenal. But again, if you want to hear more about the Black Lives Matter related movies that I quickly mentioned, I did a Black Lives recommendation movie recommendations video earlier this year. And then if you want to hear more about my thoughts on clouds, I also did a reaction video to that as well earlier this year. Reaction/review. So you can go and check that out there. But I hope you guys enjoyed today's Vlogmas, and I will see you guys tomorrow. Bye.